Hey guys, welcome to this TMO video, and I just used two massive transfers, and yes, that means I have no transfers left, but I'm so pumped about these two transfers that I'm done, and I hope that it will help my team massively. Now let's get straight into my team. Now, I do have Onana as my first keeper and bench keeper Arola, and I will be switching them throughout the season. Arola had a really good 10-point game against Chelsea, and Onana did have a disappointing 2-point game against Tottenham. But then the game before, game week 1, he had a 9-point game. So they both have really good potential. And if just say Onana has a tough game against Arsenal or something, and Arola has an easy game against Luton or something like that, which I know is coming up, I can just swap them around, and it's awesome. Now, getting into my defense, I did make one of my substitutions to my defense. I have 0.9 left in the bank, by the way, so that could come really handy. I have Purvis Estupiñán. He's got 18 points so far this FPL season in these 2 game weeks, and he's got 3 attacking returns already. He's got some really good numbers, and I'm so excited. He has one more game that looks like an easy matchup, and I'm excited to see what he can bring to my squad. He's been the only really consistent player at the moment, him and Matoma, as I'll get into later. Those two have been really the only guys who have got attacking returns in both games. But my next defender, I've got Ben Chilwell. Now, Ben Chilwell and Estupiñán have both risen in price, 0.2 million. Chilwell did have a disappointing game with 1 point. That was because they got destroyed by West Ham, which is quite embarrassing. And I am a Chelsea fan, so it was hard to watch. But let's move on from Ben Chilwell. I definitely would say him and Estupiñán are two probably of the most must-get defenders. Estupiñán's 5.2 million. Chilwell's 5.7. Obviously, if you never started with them, that would now affect your budget because they've risen in price. But let's move on. And this one, now I'll go, this is the transfer that I have done. And I put in Levi Colwill. Now, I've substituted out Tyrone Mings so I could get Colwill into my squad. The reason being that Tyrone Mings is injured, and he did go down in price, 0.1 million, which has affected my budget now. And it would have been 1 million if I'd done the swap earlier, which looking back, I probably should have done. But now my budget is 0.9 million just because I held off on that. But Colwill has he has 3 really easy matchups now. I wouldn't say they're probably like easy, but on paper they look easy. Obviously, some of the squads probably may put up a good fight against a squad like Chelsea, but hopefully he can get 3 out of 3 clean sheets, as well as Chilwell. This next game, he will be on my starting lineup, and my next player is Gabriel, and Gabriel will not be on my starting lineup. He has gone down in price as well, 0.1 million, I can just see now, which is quite disappointing, to be honest. Now, Gabriel hasn't started both games. He's only played 28 minutes so far this season because he's come on later in the game, which is really disappointing. He missed out on that clean sheet because he wasn't able to play those minutes. So that's why I will be substituting Colwill in for Gabriel. I am playing a 3-5-2 formation, just if you didn't know. And let's move on to my last defender, and that is Bulldog. Now, Bulldog is a 4 million defender. He's really good. There was probably a few other 4 million defenders I could have gone with, like Kabore and plays like that. But Luton defense in Kabore, you want to stay away from Luton defense. And Sheffield is pretty bad defense, but I'm not planning on using Bulldog in my starting lineups anyway. So that's the only reason why I have him in my squad. Moving on to my midfield, we have Saka. He's gone up 0.1. He had a really disappointing game, But I guess you will have every few games, the star players will have disappointing games. It was just unfortunate that all my players had disappointing games, except for Matoma and Estupinian. Moving into my other midfield, we have a Rashford, who I'm not sure what I'm going to do at the moment. I have no transfers left, and I don't want to take a hit, so I won't be transferring anyone out this game week anyway. But when I have more, I might consider dropping Rashford, but there's a few other players. Like there's another player in my midfield who I'd consider dropping over Rashford. So, but if it comes to it and Rashford is just still playing as bad as he is now, then maybe I'd consider dropping him as well. Moving on to Bruno Fernandes. And Bruno Fernandes is the other guy that I'd be considering dropping over Rashford for someone like Madison or someone like that. And that gets me like 0.9 million in the bank as well. So that's really, really good for my budget. Moving on to my other midfield, and I have Matoma, who has not disappointed. He's probably, for me, Matoma and Estupinian have probably been the two player of my teams at the moment. Because Matoma, he's got 3 attacking returns this season already, and he has one more easier fixture on paper. It looks good, so I'm really excited, and hopefully he can get another attacking return. Now, it was crazy to see João Pedro benched because I was so close to transferring him in. Obviously, now that's totally out of the story now that he's been benched. Moving on to my last player, and it is Martinelli. I am a bit confused why I didn't go for Madison over Martinelli at the start of the season. I think it was just because it was a bit risky. Madison was a bit risky just because he'd just been transferred in there. It was under a new coach, and Harry Kane had just moved out. So the options for scoring weren't as good. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just not sure why I did that. But he did get an attacking return for me. He got 5 points in that first game week, and then he had a bad game week with no attacking returns this one. And as we can see, Madison got 9 points in the first game week, and then he didn't get any in this second one. So I guess it was kind of a gamble, but I guess I got the gamble wrong. But hopefully Martinelli against Nottingham Forest can get a lot of attacking returns. Moving on to Haaland, I'm very annoyed at Haaland just because of how bad he did, and he was my captain. I probably should have captained like Matoma, but I never would have known. But now looking forward, when Haaland's versing harder fixtures now, like Newcastle or Arsenal or Man United, I'm probably not going to captain him. It's just now the matter of getting the right captain. Now, this is my next player that I've transferred in, and that is Jackson. I transferred Ollie Watkins out and Jackson in. I'm just really not liking the way Ollie Watkins is looking. He's got 2 assists, which I guess is good, but he's not really getting the opportunities that I would like. And against Burnley, I guess he could do really well. But then looking at Jackson's Luton fixture, I like that one a lot more. And it gives me some more space in the bank so I could do the Colwill transfer as well. So either way, it worked really well. My last player, this is Osula. Osula is kind of a budget player. I don't really care too much about him. All I care about is that he's playing and he's a starter on Sheffield, and that's all that really matters. Now, let's see what rating. I got 97 out of 100 rating. Now, that is really, really good. Obviously, I guess if I think if I hadn't made those transfers, it was like a 95 or something. So it's not too different, but I really believe in this squad. Now, this is how my squad is lining up for this next match week. Onana in keeper, Chilwell, Colwill, Estupinian making up the back 3. In the middle 5, we have Martinelli, Fernandes, Saka, Matoma, and Rashford. And up top, we have Haaland and Jackson. Now, I'm really liking Haaland's fixture against Sheffield. So he will be captain. Jackson and Luton, that's really good. Martinelli, Fulham, Saka, Fulham, which probably have the worst defense at the moment. Fernandes and Rashford, Nottingham Forest, Matoma, West Ham, Colwill, Chilwell, Luton, Stupinian, West Ham, Onana, Nottingham Forest. It's got to be like the best fixtures that you could ask for. Make sure to like and subscribe, smash that notification button, and I'm out.